Yo, what's up? We're back after a couple of days break, I suppose. And now it's finally time to hopefully finish this graph toolkit stuff. Or at least the foundation of it. We're gonna extend it after. But we have one last thing we need to fix. So let's just review what we have so far, and then we can figure out the next step. So, yo, what's up, Antonino? Hope you had a wonderful weekend, man. And you too, Derek. I'm feeling good. I've been wanting to finish this graph toolkit for a while now. Unfortunately, I didn't get the time last week, but hopefully we'll get it this week and close it up. How about you, Antonino? So we have split it up in editor and runtime. Editor node is what we're seeing here. So everything in editor handles the visuals here. Inherits from generation editor node, which inherits from node in graph toolkit.editor. So yeah, for each individual node we have a class defined, we have a graph implemented, and then we have a graph exporter. I thought exporter was a better name than importer, but I'm not so sure about it. Or I always doubt it, but we're taking this one and we're exporting it to a runtime graph. And I'm actually quite impressed by how compact we managed to implement it, thanks to much thanks to generation editor node and the functions get input nodes, get output nodes, and the abstract method to runtime node. So for most of them currently it's just as simple as this. They return a runtime node. But then we have, I think it is dynamic mesh generator. This one has the most complex to runtime node. So here we have to get a lot of input. So we fetch all the inputs we have here, and we use that data to eventually create a dynamic mesh generator runtime node. So yes, we export all of this to a runtime graph, which we have here. What is this? This is executor, yes. So this is the runtime graph we get eventually. Right now, it's just a list of nodes. And when we want to get the output, we just take the first node, which is actually, or we actually get the node that returns a creature. We're going to have to fix this eventually. But all it does basically is we take the last node and then we walk through the graph and generate each node. But we also store, or maybe we don't do that. No, we don't do that yet. That's what we're going to do today. So we just go backwards and run each node, which currently with this setup means that this one will be run twice. And that's what we're going to fix today. We're going to, when we try and get output, I think we're going to send in something like this, which keeps, it's a state of the graph currently. We're not going to let the graph know its own state. It's a scriptable object. We want it to be static, but we're going to send in a blob pretty much. That is the state of one iteration of the graph. That is the idea, and that's what we're going to do today. Antonino, it was a crazy weekend. Didn't you have a crazy weekend last week as well? What the fuck? Quote, I got kicked out by security at my old university. The guard had his gun ready. Do they actually have guns at the university there? Yeah, in short, a strange weekend. Yeah, definitely sounds like a strange weekend. Hopefully you're not too... I would be pretty shook after an experience like that. But hopefully you're fine and can continue. Yo, what's up, Geralt? Good morning, good morning. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And that's a strange weekend indeed. Huh. I'm pretty shook by just reading about it. Must have been pretty crazy being there. Okay, so we have try get output. In generation runtime node, we have a function that is try get output, or we actually have generate output. I think we're gonna send in something here, a blob of sort that keeps track of the iteration of the graph. Because then again, we're gonna have a lot of random numbers and stuff in this graph, a lot of RNG, but it's gonna be, we want the RNG to be deterministic. So like we want to keep track of all the seeds we use and when we generate new seeds and when we reuse seeds and so on. So it's going to be quite intricate, but I think that's what we want to do. So I don't think we're going to implement a creature generation runtime graph executor. We're going to create a creature generation graph iteration. Creature generation runtime graph iteration, I think. What a long name. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try it. Antonino, my life is now a movie. Yeah, definitely sound like it. My weekend was one of those weekends where you don't get much rest, honestly. Nothing spectacular. Just a life puzzle, you know. I'm trying to remember if I have something interesting to report. It was one of those weekends where it feels like you don't have any time for anything and you still don't get anything done, pretty much. Okay, this one, did I not? Yeah, we committed this one, right? Add missing. Oh, we have it here. Ooh, editor graph exporter. Add display names. Yo, good morning, Harukanan. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Remove cache implementation. We're gonna fix this. So have I removed it already? Let's take a look real quick. No, we haven't. Okay. So we're gonna fix this one. We're gonna commit this one. Right, yes. And then we're gonna rename this task. Let's see here. Creature generation runtime graph iteration. That's what we're gonna call it. Antonino, don't talk to me about rest. I slept on a chair for 2 days. 6 hours of sleep in 2. What the hell happened? Like 6 hours sleep for 48. 6 hours sleep in 48 hours. That's not good at all. Damn. Okay, that's enough for the review of last week. Let me just commit this one and then we can rename this one and let's go. Anthony, did you finally check if it's possible to have both chats? No, unfortunately not yet. You know what? Ask me again tomorrow, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna add a reminder right now. Let's see here. And I'm gonna do it this afternoon. Check for... Thank you for the reminder, by the way. Fuck, my to-do list and my notifications, or my to-do list is so long right now, but I have it as a... I should get notified this afternoon, and I will check it. It would be very nice to have it like that. Sorry for the final, the translator is rude. It's no problem at all. It's actually a valid use of finally, I think. Okay, let's see here. Creature visuals generation, node system, runtime. Creature generation runtime graph. There we go. Add first implementation of creature generation runtime graph related to okay, beautiful. So let's see here. We're gonna rename. We're gonna rename this one. Fuck, it's so long names. Maybe we should introduce an additional namespace here. I want to rename this one to iteration. Yeah. Antonino in Italian finally said like that. It's like, come on, check this thing fast. Yeah. It's no problem at all. Creature generation runtime graph executor. We want to rename this one iteration. Okay. And inside of this one, I want this. You know what? I think... I wonder if we want to do it like this. Iteration. We're gonna have a private creature generation runtime graph. Just gonna call it graph. That's gonna be our graph. And then I want private. And this is where I want to put. So this is going to be our cache. So if we have generated the output of one node and we don't want to regenerate it, so this case specifically, we have one dynamic mesh generator node going to two nodes. Once again, this example doesn't make any sense, but we're going to have similar node setups eventually. Then we don't want to generate this one twice. We want to generate it once and reuse it here and here. Okay. And this is going to be our cache, basically. And I don't think it's insane at all. Not anymore. We're not going to call it state, we're going to call it cache, maybe. And we're not going to instantiate it here. And then we're going to have a public iteration. And this one is going to take a graph. And we're going to do this and cache. Yeah, okay, this is maybe the insane part. Having it as object here. But then again, like in generate output, we always throw it or cast it to an object here. Okay, is this insane then? If we have something like we have generate output, what if we have protected abstract bool cast output? Or not cast, but so what I want to have here is I basically want to get the cache value, and then I want to use the runtime node to throw it to the correct type. Try cast to output, basically. Try cast to output. So that would look like node try cast to output. You know what? I will see how we will use it, but maybe. Oh no, never mind. Generate output, try get input game object. When we do try get input here, before we try and get input, we want to check. I think we're gonna have generate output, dictionary, like this is what I'm thinking. Let's see how that would look. Let's see how this would look and work if we go with something like this. So in set mesh, okay. When we do try get input, do we want to send in the cache here as well? Try get input. No. Okay, now I'm. We don't want to send in. We don't want to send in this. We want to send in this. I think this is messy. Is it this one we want to send in? Okay, let's try this. We send in the cache. Try get output. We send in the cache. In fact, we're gonna need it here as well. It definitely doesn't, like, it's, if we're gonna throw or send this one back and forth, it doesn't, it's not as clean as I would like. Do I want this one to control everything, be the shot caller, so to speak, or do I want this one to be passed around? Okay, so basically what it all comes down to is when we try and get output, we want to check if we have already generated the output previously. If so, fetch that output. And that's why it feels so nice to be able to do it or fuck me. I know in the sample project, for each runtime node they have an executor node. I want to avoid that. I don't want to add additional classes, but if we could add one wrapper class which all of the nodes use, then maybe. Antonino, welcome back. I was thinking, do you drink energy drinks? Monster, for example, shout out. And most of the time I just drink coffee. But I drink like 1 or 2 energy drinks a week, I think. Sometimes Monster. Sometimes one of these brands with BCAA in it. I don't know why, really. Feels good. Yo, what's up, Calvino? Long time no see. Hope everything is alright. Quote, White Monster, best monster. White Monster is pretty damn good. Okay. Yo, what's up, Coder Cube? Antonino, I'm drinking White Monster right now. Yeah, it definitely seems like to be the most popular. Fuck, I heard that Monster is gonna release an energy drink for quote-unquote women, or for, quote, for women, unquote. Which is so fucking weird. What was it called? FLRT, Flirt Energy Drink. That's just a side note, a weird side note. Calvino, yeah, long time been swamped at work. Hope it's getting a little bit more relaxed now, closer to Christmas. Yeah, Monster preparing to launch its zero sugar female focused flirt energy drink. It's so weird. Antonino, it's definitely caffeine addiction. Code Cube, it's flu season, I can testify personally. I'm sorry to hear, sorry to hear. Yeah, Code Cube, I'm definitely gonna try the FLRT or Flirt energy drink. I think it's gonna be quite good. They have all the stats. They have probably noticed that they don't reach as many women. I guess this is some try to get more women to buy their energy drinks. Okay, I need to take one more turn thinking about this problem. So what we're working with here is, or the whole problem stems from the fact that I need to get rid of the cache here. I want to have the cache somewhere else. Where do I have my here? Generation runtime node. Okay, a new plan of attack. Maybe we can have generation runtime node instance. Like a wrapper class around it. And ask for output. Ah, that's weird. Calvino, I think women drink Nocco and Celsius. While my wife and I share a Monster every day, 1500 when we have our daily fika. So maybe not everyone. That actually sounds pretty damn cozy. Code Cube, everybody, to maintain sanity, do not make a ray tracer. Fuck, I've been meaning, I've been wanting to do a ray tracer or a ray marcher. Actually, I don't think. Yeah, ray tracer would be fun, but I think I'm gonna stop by marching. I think. Code Cube, I thought converting voxels to triangles to pixels was terrible, so I built a ray tracer based on ray marching, and now I'm mentally dead. Hearing that actually makes me want to implement ray tracing. Antonino, I imagine Code Cube like the default cube of Blender with a pair of glass and a keyboard. Same here now. At least it runs constantly or consistently no matter how many tries there are, or I mean data. That's good. Okay, I need to think about this one more time. We're gonna do this. Let's see. I wanna remove, yeah, let's remove the cache here and here. We still have any errors? No, I don't think so. Or do we? Yeah, here. Okay, CodeCube, I'm hearing you. I'm gonna hold off on doing ray tracing for a couple of weeks at least. Or until 26. So look at this. Okay, let's explain this, see if I get any ideas. So this is a dynamic mesh generator runtime node. It has a dynamic mesh variable here. This one gets set when we generate the output. So every time we call generate output, we check if it's null. If it is, we generate it. Otherwise, we just return the cached version, right? We don't want to do this in dynamic mesh generator runtime node because this node is in a scriptable object file which we don't want to alter. We don't want to alter these nodes. They should be stateless. But when we iterate through the graph, we need to keep track of states. So my initial idea was to have something like this, a cache. So before we generate something from a node, we check if we have it in, if this node has generated previously, like if we have the result in the cache. If we have, we fetch it instead. And I mean, this will work, but it's going to be messy. We're going to have to send in this cache to generate output, try get input, try get output. Like, for every output of a node, we're going to have to send in this cache. So that would be, when we generate output here, what we do first then instead would be if cache contains key this, return t cache this. Exactly like this is what we would do. And that's pretty nice, isn't it? Whoa. Couldn't we... Hey, one sec. Wouldn't that mean that we can just do generation runtime node, try get input, if cache contains key this, wouldn't it be enough to just have it here? Oh fuck, not try get input. but try get output. But every time we call this one, okay, we're gonna have to have it in try get input as well. Yeah, when we do try get input or try get output, that's when we need the cache. So if we add cache to this one, and that's all. Maybe. Yeah, we need to fix this. CodeCube, as opposed to running at a lower resolution, let's see here, as opposed to running at a lower res, the cat hitting the enter key mid-sentence is pretty funny, actually. Let's see here, as opposed to running at a lower res for the ray tracer, I run it cascaded to maintain solid frame rate, since the max amount of lag is due to the 128 lights visible at once, equaling 128 extra rays. 28 extra rays. Okay, also specially project lights if you ever plan to make one. Yeah, I'm probably never gonna implement my own lights, actually. I've done it once way back when I was learning the render pipeline, and I don't think I want to do it again. Light and shadows. CodeCube, Robin, you can choose. Would you rather be on my left eye when I test or the right? Put me on the left. Left for me is like secondary screen, right? Or I have my secondary screen to my left, so it feels normal, you know. But CodeCube, everything sounds very technical and in depth. I would love like a long form video from you explaining all this. Would be very interesting to watch, I think. But okay, back to this. If we can get away with just sending in the cache into these two methods, then we're done. And I think we can. Yeah, let's try that. So, new dictionary. Let's take this. And let's put it here. Generation runtime node. Sweeta, what's up? Happy coding, thank you. You too. CodeCube, wait, have you seen my shit content? I've watched a few of your shorts, yes? Wouldn't call it shit, right? Never ever downplay anything you do. You will live a happier life if you don't. Try get output, cache, try get input, cache. And then we send in the cache here. And then we do uncomment this one, if cache dot contains key, this, return, why can't we do this? Oh yeah, yep. Value is equal to this, return true. Try get input. Yeah, whoa. And here we just do try get input, output, send it in. Fuck, this is pretty nice. If this works, wow. CodeCube, I'm sorry for subjecting your eyes and ears to my guard, but fuck, man. Don't downplay what you do or what you have created. Shit, if we get away with this, then I'm extremely happy with the way we implemented this. We're gonna have to send it in here and generate output as well. Okay. Oh yeah, of course we do. When we generate the output, we also want to... Yeah, we also want to set this one. Okay, so we're not done just yet, but maybe. We'll see. Fuck. Okay, that's a little bit worse, but let's try it. Generate output. So here we go with this one again. Set mesh. We have a cache, and then we send it in here. We need to set this cache as well. Generate output. Okay, we have an error here. We're going to go through each node and just do this real quick. Using system cache. Okay, you know what? We're going to do it like this. Runtime graph iteration. Do I want a... let's do it like this. And then I want to have... It's almost like I want to override this, but... see. Cache contains key. We're sending this. Okay, for now, let's call it public t. No, actually, object get maybe we want to do ref t value. Can we do it like this? Maybe. Return, or if content contains key, node turn false, otherwise value is equal to content node, throw it to a t, return true, and then we also create a bool set to t, yeah, maybe. Set, and here I'm actually going to do if content contains key, no. When would this ever fail? I think we're going to do if it contains it, else. And let's just always return true for now. If it contains it, we do content node is equal to value. Otherwise, content.add value. Maybe. Okay, this is our cache then. So here, instead of sending in this, we send in, would love to be able to just, Unity Engine has one, but so we can do runtime graph iteration cache like this. I don't know how much cleaner that is. At least we don't need to okay, so what we do here is cache cache dot get. Yeah, we can just do it like bool cached is equal to cache dot get this value. Or are we gonna have to do it like this? If cache get return true, otherwise we generate output. Okay. see how that would look here. So instead of sending this, and yeah, we'll just send it in here. We don't need this one. That's good. But I'm okay. So we want to run this whole graph on a secondary thread. We don't want multiple threads to run one iteration of the graph. So we don't have to worry about race conditions or anything like that to the cache. The cache is always only gonna be used by one thread. But all of it will be look like on not on the main thread. Got a little bit worried there for a sec. Okay, so that's it. For each generate output, we need to send in this one. Let's see, what do we have? Yeah, we want to send in the cache here, but we're gonna wait. Let's just comment this one like that. And here. Okay, let's see if we have any compiler issues. Okay, good. Okay, we have one problem left with this cache. We need to set the values here as well. Right now we only fetch. Yo, what's up, Spires? Thank you for the raid. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Appreciate it. So we want to set these if we can do it in generation runtime node, so the abstract class, that would be the best. The less we need to do for each node implementation, the better. So when we try and get output, and we didn't get it from the cache, that means that we have generated some output if these succeeds, and we also need to add it to the cache. Basically, generate output. We send in the cache here. Yeah, I mean, maybe the natural order is to just do it in generate output here. So before we return true, we set it in cache. Maybe that's just... Nah. But this looks so nice. Can output and generate output value. What we're gonna have to do is something like this then. If So this, but and then that doesn't look very good, does it? Generate output. What we could do is protected abstract. Okay, beautiful. We can actually put this in a like every time we call this one, we generate output for the first time, right? So somewhere here is where we need to do it. I mean, it's okay to do it like this, but fuck it. Let's try this. So I want to test it. We're gonna build a pretty shit graph. Or we can actually build this one, I think, and then we're gonna run it, and we're gonna print every time we are gonna do here, try get output. Fuck it. Oops. We're gonna do debug. Try get output from node. Isn't it like this? Exporter. Debug log error. Is that the only place where we can do it as nice as this? Maybe. Okay, let's do it old school. Node this. Get type. Okay, and here we do got value or got output from cache. Generated new output. Okay. Yes. So, okay, let's Tester. Okay, tester here is gonna be awake. I think we're gonna need using here then. Creature generation runtime graph. And in start, we're gonna do creature generation runtime graph iteration. Iteration is equal to graph. Was it something else? No, it's only graph, okay. Like this, and then of course we want the last thing here. We want to have a method that is public creature generate. And the idea then is, oh, did I remove it? Okay, we just do graph.nodes.get first, or dot first feature. Where did actually we have it here. This is what I want to do. Graph.nodes first try get output creature ref creature and hash. So tester here, we're gonna create an iteration and then we're gonna just do iteration dot generate. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have our graph here. Where do we have the creature stand definition? No, it's not this one. Here we have it, test stand nodes. I'm gonna save this one, so we regenerate this one. And then we want to go node system tester. And we add this one here. And if we play now, hopefully won't crash. But the idea is that we will run through this graph. We will only generate the output for a node once, unless otherwise specified. We're going to get to that implementation eventually. But we're going to run through this one. And I hope that this one is only called once. Without the cache, we call it twice. Once when we want to get the input to this one, and once when we want to get the input with this one. But now with the cache, we have already generated, so we just return that one. Okay, let's try it. Okay. Generation game object to creature runtime node. Okay, we don't get this one, we don't get this one, so it fails. We can't output it and we can't generate it. Of course, this one fails. It's the first node. What did I screw up with generate output? If so, this one fails. Try get input. We never call this one, do we? No, we don't. This is like the second worst result we could have gotten. What? Oh, how I would love more information here. Generation runtime node, serializable. Why can't I see? Why can't I see inputs and outputs? Can I see this if we do serialize field? Okay, fuck it. We're gonna do it like this. Runtime node. Try get output. Bug.log has like this is the first first reason I think this fails is because we don't get the input connection. That doesn't make much sense either. Yeah, has 0 inputs. Okay, that's good. Then we know where to begin. So why the fuck why don't we have any inputs here? We had it previously. Maybe we didn't. Okay, let's double check this. Game object to creature runtime node. When we export it, runtime node, add output. So this is where we link it, right? What's up, Scafer? Okay. Add output is compatible with output. We know that adding outputs and inputs works. But not in the exporter. Okay. Gave a furiously bug reporting for Godot. Ah, that's good. Love people who bug report. Something I should get better at. Oh, there's so many things that can go wrong here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Generation runtime node. Do we not have any proper constructor for this? We don't. Well, I wouldn't if I hadn't gotten the bugs. I would be hard to report imaginary bugs. Okay, maybe I want to move away from, let's see here. Generation node. Generation to runtime nodes. Where do we have it? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna double check. I wanted to do this either way, so let's add a public. Let's add a proper constructor here. Oops. This, and then we do okay, let's start with this. It's still 0 inputs. Weird. Okay, so the idea is that let's do some more debug logging here. Fail to get add output. Runtime node add output. Let's double check. Add input, add output. We have bool here. Okay, beautiful. We're gonna do this. If this one fails, failed to add output to node in graph. Okay. Scafer, yesterday I've spent the whole day, the whole work on my game time, trying to understand why the fuck is my main menu scene have random dips in performance. From 2.5 milliseconds to 25 milliseconds. Yeah, that's a dip, all right. It seems to be a regression. Wasn't presented in the old version, also presented only with Vulkan renderer and not DX12. And today I was testing DX12 renderer on the beta version, but it was just crashing, so not good. The main menu is just a couple of UI nodes and glow shader. Yeah, that definitely sounds weird. I don't know what kind of analytic tool set does Godot have currently? Like, how well can you analyze, like, frame debugger, for instance? Does it have any something like that? Okay, one sec. We're gonna test this. So the idea is that when we save this one now and regenerate it, we will get an error if we can't add an input to our node. And we do get it. Failed to add output to node generation graph material instantiator runtime. this one. Fail to add output to node. Why? So what we do when we try to add output, we check is compatible with output. So my guess is that this one returns false. And what was it? It was the material instantiator is compatible with output. Node can input material. Set material. The weird part is, okay, we know that it worked when we defined it as this. So here it worked. Yeah, okay. Something is wrong here. So let's analyze it. Let's escape. Godot has visual profiler, frame profiler. Not very informative. I can only go as deep and see the dips are happening inside canvas items, processing inside a main viewport and not inside my second viewport where I render my cool glowing UI. Okay, hopefully you get some answers quickly for what's wrong. One sec. Also, what the hell? Why didn't I think about this? When we did... What the fuck? We tested this one and it worked. So it has worked previously. What have I done today to fuck it up like this? And we changed this. Try get output. Let's just try. has worked previously. Hmm. Schaefer, and I would consider switching to DX12, but in the latest current version of Godot, it's painfully slow at startup, like 10 times slower to start. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, this makes me want to do cache try get input. Ah, fuck it. Let's do. I'm just gonna do this. This doesn't make any sense. Return this. So we don't use the cache. But we're not using it yet, though. Yeah, it makes sense. So now we have a cache, but we never use it. Yeah, sorry I'm blabbering about Godot when you're head first in Unity. It's no problem at all. I actually want to try Godot real soon. I have a tiny little fun game idea I want to try out, and I'm gonna test it with Godot actually. So this is just like drip feeding me Godot information that I can use in the future, so that's nice. Let's play this one and play it here. Yeah, and we don't get anything. Or actually, let's do... Ayo. What the fuck? Okay, this is weird. I'm like 100% certain that this worked previously, which means that we had node connections previously, but we no longer have node connections. What did I screw up? Could it be end node, get nodes of type game object to creature editor node first or default? How can we test this? What information do I want to reveal here? Like, the only way this one can fail, add output, we have, oops, add output. The only way it can fail, here we return false, otherwise we return true. So it can only fail if it's not compatible with output. And is compatible. Let me double check which node it is. It's material instantiator runtime node. Okay, so this one, we can't add this one as output to this one. Actually, I want some more information here. If we fail here, fail to add output. Fail to add node. Failed to add node as output to node. And is it failed to add node? Let's do it like this then. It's output to node. Okay, we can't do it like that. Save. Okay. Failed to add node material instantiate runtime node as in output to node material instantiate runtime node. Okay, makes sense. Did I fuck up something here? So we try to add. How the hell did I manage to do this then? So we try to add. Okay, that's crazy. So that's this one. And then this one. Material instantiator runtime node, material instantiator runtime node. Oh, set material editor node. Set material editor node. We return a set material runtime node here. And here we return a material instantiator runtime node. We add them here. Editor node, runtime node. get output nodes, get out. Did I fuck this one up? Get output ports, get connected ports, output. How is this possible? Okay, we're gonna do debug log, outputs for node. Yo, what's up, PG King? Good morning, good morning. Outputs for node. Get outputs nodes. Editor node. Okay, let's try this. Is my editor node dot get output nodes wrong? Or do these return itself as well? Let's see. Here we go. Outputs for node. Outputs for node. Oh, one sec. I fucked this up. Or did I? Debug. Yeah, this one. PG King, I've got to say, I'm always super impressed you managed to stay on one project consistently. That's amazing. I appreciate it. Stupidly stubborn. But believe me, I'm looking at side projects, that's for sure. Let's see. Outputs for node, game object to creature. So it's this one. We don't have any outputs for this one, so we don't return anything. That's great. Then outputs for node, set material editor node. Here we have this one. That's great. Then we have outputs for node, set mesh editor node. It's this one. So this one. And outputs for this one is this one. And then we have a problem. Okay, so this information, we do get the correct here. Wow, one sec. We don't want editor node here. What the fuck? We want output editor node here. Fail to add node. Okay, let's try this. But PG King, like, I think I've said this before. I know, like, when I leave a project unfinished, I know how much it hurts me. Like, when I look back on my half-finished projects, I have a few. It hurts, man. So I'm doing my best to not build upon that pile, if that makes sense. That's like the biggest motivator for me to just keep working on one project. Might be... Oh! Now we can actually generate it. Good. And let's see then what happens now. Clear, and then let's play. Fuck, has 0 inputs. How? So let's see here. We successfully... We don't fail this one anymore, but we still don't get any inputs in our runtime nodes. What the fuck? Add output. Cube, I have like 100k Leon projects and all of them are broken. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid. But I'm slowly losing my sanity over it, so I don't know if it's worth it, but... And link is true here, so input, output, add input. If it's not compatible, return false. Ooh. Let's just try and do this one. Maybe it's that we don't add the inputs here, so I want to see if it breaks now. Clear and build. Okay, it doesn't fail, so this one... This one is okay. Generation runtime node is serializable. But I'm wondering... Cube, just get the core loop done first if you haven't already. Who doesn't love beans and cubes as characters? That's unfortunately one of the reasons I have a few unfinished projects. They are in the core loop done, cubes and boxes everywhere, and then I just get overwhelmed by all the visuals I need to fix. So I just put my hands up in the air and move on to the next project. CodeCube, yes, I don't have a single game to prove my advice works. I think every person needs to find his or her way. PG King, yeah, I always stop when I need visuals and stuff. Yeah, that used to be me. Now I try to like develop them in parallel. Makes me the most happy, I think. Makes me want to return to a project. You know what? I want to check one thing here. Somewhere the inputs get reset, it looks like. Or yeah, because here we actually have inputs here. When we save this one to scriptable objects, we have inputs, but then when we load it, we no longer have inputs. I'm wondering if the list isn't serializing the way it should, right? CodeCube, wear that Japper crown with love. PG King, so I try to get my girlfriend to do something to help me. I'm gonna start learning my son Blender soon, so he can help me with the visuals. Input, let's see here. Dangerously close to child labor, unfortunately, but we'll see. Okay, input count. Do we not have any output count? Why don't we get any output counts? Okay. That's interesting. Add runtime node, add output. Okay. Hmm. 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 Okay, this is very interesting. Output count, we never get to this one. Ah, of course. Fucking hell. Monday morning, Monday morning. Kodakug, my cat is screaming at the food bowl. I need to fix that. Yes, do it quick. Okay, now we're... Oops, that's not what I want to do. Now we're back. Okay, we have input and outputs. But then when we, at runtime, we no longer have inputs and outputs. So we know that at this point we have inputs and outputs. And then we generate it to runtime graph. We make it into a list of nodes. We set this one here. Okay, so, but then when we load it at runtime, for some reason our nodes here for some reason these are empty this time around. Yeah, of course. Our runtime iteration then. This graph is equal to graph. That's all we do. I'm wondering, I'm worried here that when I try and look at this scriptable object we have saved here, okay, we have an error. Let's generate it again. When I try and look at this one, I can't see the lists of inputs and outputs, which is quite weird. Ooh. What do we have here? Okay, let's do generation runtime node. I'm gonna do this. Public int input. Cube turns out he's a cat with arachnophobia. Relatable. Okay, and then we have element 0, input count 1, output count 0. So we can see here that it works. We don't see what kind of element it is. But then we have 0 inputs. Yeah, I think the problem is... Fuck, this is weird. Our generation runtime nodes, they don't get serialized in the correct way. Why is that? Or that's what I'm guessing, at least. That's weird. What can we do to test this one? If we don't do this, we don't have them at all. But one sec, if we don't have them at all... Ooh. Happens then, one sec. Code Cube, one more question before I go. Is the goal here to create a system like Shady Graph to make creatures meshes? Yes, exactly. But not only creature meshes. It's also going to be properties for creatures and stuff like that. Yeah, the problem definitely seems to be that our input and outputs, they don't get serialized the correct way. But how can that be? Serialized reference abstract selectable. What the hell? Do we need to do it here as well? Maybe. Maybe. Now I'm just like brute forcing this, but let's see. Feels weird. Save. And ooh, yes, now we're talking. Now we're talking. And then let's see. But still 0 inputs here. Or actually, no. Okay. Now we have another error. Yes, okay, great. Beautiful. That's one step closer. Took me a while. We fixed one issue here. So fucking weird that they didn't get serialized though. So now we properly serialize them, that's great. So let's move on and see what the new issue is. Code well code is scary, so let's make less scary code with scarier code. 100%. Like the main reason I want to be able to define my creatures like this is because it's so much clearer visually than compared to the current definition, which looks like this. Like this right here makes no fucking sense to me. Or it takes time for me to parse this, while watching this is pretty damn straightforward. Maybe not that straightforward, but it's at least clearer than this. Okay, let's see what kind of issue do we get. Try get output from node. Specified cast is not valid. That's our dictionary. Okay. Do we try to cast it to a type that is not valid then? Okay, so let's debug log some stuff here. A type of, we do this, content node. Can I do it like this? Can we do this then? Dot get type to string. Can I do type of T? Let's try this. Code cube, whatever floats your goat. System runtime type. Okay, yeah. Okay, we can print it like this. But we're trying to get a game object. Try get output from node. Game object instantiate runtime node. So that's game object, but we can't cast it to game object. So we know that it's game object instantiate runtime. Game object. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get to the bottom of this. I just need to run AFK real quick, so be right back. Okay, back. Sorry about that. Let's see. So we try to cast something to game object and it doesn't work. Okay. Here. And it's a problem with the cache, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna try it without the cache again. And it's always just here. So let's take this and do return this. So now we try and run this without utilizing the cache. Okay. Huh? Okay, now we get further down. Our setup is not serializable, I guess. Serialize reference. Okay, we actually rebuild it every time. Okay. Oops, there we go. That's something at least. New game object. Generate it. What is the error we get? Region 19. Yeah, we don't have an attribute generator. Creature return. Now we're getting somewhere. Action handler, fuck. We don't get any of this. Okay, creature. Yes. Okay, we have a lot of things. So previously we always instantiated these by prefabs and stuff like that. This time around we don't. We instantiate them at runtime through code, or we build them up through code. So let's do, so it's the action handler, right? Private set. So I guess we can do if action handler animate action handler then. Okay, one less thing. We don't have any actions. Fuck, really? Can we do this? Come on. Yeah. Okay, what can I do to just get rid of these issues for now? Let me add this to my to-do list as well. We need to properly make entities be instantiated and built in code. Okay. Okay, beautiful. So we create a creature using our graph. But this should be a plane. But yeah, okay, yeah. If we have a plane setup when we do dynamic mesh generator editor, default here is a cube setup. So we get the default, which is a cube. Everything seems to work. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. But this is without the cache. If we utilize the cache, we get a problem. So for some reason, this doesn't really work. Or it's the cast here that doesn't work. I wonder why. Could it be null for some reason? One sec, it's the game object instantiator, which we only use once. So why are we trying to get the cache of this one? Let's double check. Weird. Now that's definitely wrong. I remove try get output from node game creases generation graph game object instantiator runtime node has 0 inputs. That's correct. And then we try to get it from the cache and it doesn't work. We check if content doesn't contain this node, we return false. But for some reason, it contains it. And we get an error here. Yo, what's up, Apukas? Hope you had a wonderful weekend, man. So this is weird because this is the first time we try and get the output from this one. Game object oh, it's not. Actually, let's clear it and play it. Stop. Game object instant. we actually try and get it twice. Okay. Here we try and generate it. We called this one twice. Set mesh, set mesh. Then we go to game object instantiator. Okay, then we're done with that one. Then we go to it again. What the fuck? Had good preparations to move to a new apartment this weekend. Oh, nice. I had a pretty nice weekend. Not one of those getting rest kind of weekends. There was a lot of things to do, but it was nice. Okay, this is weird. Am I adding this? Okay, two things. I'm worried about this error. Like, it should be okay if we try to... if we try to get this one twice. But... so why does the cache fail, or the cast? And why are we visiting it twice? I want to see. Let's take a look at our graph. Game object instantiator. This one has 0 inputs and 1 output. Yeah, that makes 0 sense. Not much of a rest and not much of a productivity either, actually. Oh, generate a new output. Generate a new output. Cache set. Return true. Should be okay. Hmm. Wait. Does this one go out in infinity? Set, where do we have it here? Game object instantiator outputs. Yeah. This one I don't get at all. Game object instantiator runtime node. Could it be? No. Value we try and set here. Do we need... No, we don't need T here. Where to begin with this one? We only have one game object instantiator runtime node. And this one only has one output. But we're still calling it twice. Oh, could it be? What is it? Dynamic? No, it's set mesh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Set mesh runtime node. Has two inputs. Or let's see here, game object instantiator outputs to this one, which has two inputs. This one and this one. That's correct. Wondering if this is screwing me. Of course, what the fuck? Yes, okay, here we have it. So when we try and get the input of... just gonna let Unity compile. What can I be busy? Okay, so the thing is, we try and get game object, we do it like this, and then we try to get mesh. When we try and get input here, we do it like this. So try and get output, we call this one. And one time we're gonna get, like, we try and get the mesh input, but we check the game object input as well, right? And that's why we try and get mesh from something that returns. Of course, we need to check if node dot Uh, mm, 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 mm. We need to check is or can output try get input. So we want to check node dot can output t. If it can't, we continue. No idea what my unit is up to right now. Mm. Okay, something is wrong, that's for sure.